Thanks a lot, Tomas. You did a great job. And we're back with John W. Spring. John, we just had a little battle here in the background with one of our main suppliers of our nutraceuticals, and we managed to get through to them. Again, remember, there's different thresholds to things. Now, I gave a little bit of a rant the last hour with Dr. Truott on what I would recommend Donald Trump do, and I want to hear your response because I'm not getting through to POTUS. And I contacted my friend Gary Franchu. I don't have an answer back yet. I don't know why not. Apparently he doesn't do interviews. I thought he did. But he does Next News Network, and then one of his co-hosts that fills in for him is Josh Bernstein. And I know Donald Trump is watching it, so he's got some information. It's obvious to me that Donald Trump is, in some ways, acting impotent. He knows that 9/11 was an inside job because he's a builder, so he knows the building was demolished. He knows, I'm sure, most of these politicians know about Deagle. In fact, the intel agencies directly tried to intervene, shut down my program by shutting down my internet, my Comrex, my cell phone, all at the same time. I've actually had last Friday, on 2 different hours, my guests, which were ready to raise what we call terminal questions you wouldn't ask any rational human being and never expect an answer, and both were cut off air immediately while they were about to give me the question. Today was one of the most horrendous things I've had in decades, trying to actually do something damaging to our supply line for our nutraceuticals, and we managed to overcome it by contacting the president of the company through somebody reasonable. But we had to do some really bizarre things. And what people need to understand here is Dr. Deagle has gone through living hell because, just like yourself, John W., it's a good thing you were quiet when you gave the information to the president in 1961, and it took him a year with a YouTube flight over Cuba to identify that Russia had nukes aimed at our guts back in 1961 to 62. And then he did the same thing in 1983. And the Russians are back at it again with the non-vodka drinking maniac, Vladimir Putin and his oligarchs. And these maniacs basically are totally armed to the teeth. And you've shown the technical proof that the Rosatom facility outside Moscow supplied totally the missile guidance systems and the missiles themselves to Mr. Kim. Kim didn't develop these on his own because they're really smart North Koreans. The same way as the economy of Korea is being supported by China, who is violating the international agreements they even signed themselves to actually take coal from North Korea and instead give them food and other supplies that they need because the people are in such starvation they're eating off the bark off trees and weeds. Okay? We have an obscene situation where they got foot-long parasites in their guts, and they're actually telling their military, there's up to 2 million of them, to forage for food. Okay? One guy actually managed to get off last year to cross the DMZ zone from North to South Korea. And this maniac is really upset that we're doing joint maneuvers, and they're basically computer maneuvers with South Korea, which we've done for decades. But at the same time, China is armed to the teeth because they don't have any nuclear treaty with us, intermediate and short-range nuclear missiles, not only in North Korea, but also in China, aimed at South Korea and our allies in Guam, etc. These communists have got a hell of a lot of nerve, especially when they say in their open documents, which if you have a translator translate from Cantonese, they want to take over AI and the production of all intellectual property and production for everything from Amazon to all the public online and every stores like Target, etc., all production to China. In fact, they built over 100,000 warehouses to secure everything from wood from South America to mineral wealth and everything, so they can literally take over manufacturing on the planet, including intellectual property, where they force transfer of technology and steal it. And again, this is where I agree with the senator from Florida that talks about this. We have a situation where no one is tough enough. Guess what? Dr. Deagle's tough enough. If Donald Trump had a half an hour with you and me, photos either on video or phone or face-to-face, I'd give him a what for as to what the hell he has to do to operate as president. And he should stop talking to Nancy Pelosi and Mr. Schumer. He should stop talking, tweeting about every little minor thing. And I loved his speech when he talked about the idea of stopping hate. But these maniacs, even after he gave a non-hate-filled speech, these maniacs in the Democratic Party blamed him for the mass murder of these insanely maniacs that should have been picked up at their school by public health and psychiatrists and brought in a posy jacket to a psychiatric facility and shouldn't be anywhere near anything sharper than a pencil. And yet they want to accuse Donald Trump. Now, Donald Trump's not perfect. The man is basically underachieving because he's surrounded by maniacs like John Lightning Bolt and Mike Pompeo and his former head of the United Nations, Nikki Haley. It's no wonder the man is not doing. He's a good businessman. He's a good builder. But he's not a super genius like Dr. Deagle. I don't have a cape, and I don't have a spandex suit, and I can't fly at the speed of light. But God has made me, like my ancestor Moshe, a Superman, spiritually and intellectually. And when I bring on Superman like John W. Spring, who actually warned us twice already, now this is the third time around, because when he took my warnings 2.5 years ago, he actually researched it, and he had the proof. But you remember, I have proof on 3 levels. I have the sewer net, I have intel agencies that contact me, and I have supernatural. That's how I knew both these things. And even Charlotte Iserby gave credit to John W. Spring. We didn't give credit to Deagle. And by the way, I give credit to God, because I wouldn't know about these things unless God warned me to start doing research, just like he gave me the warning of what's the state of life where you don't age with my Red Deer Velvet DR, which I now have patents, or how to use epigenetic frequency treatment for the song of DNA to turn on your DNA and stop aging. I've launched all the way, by the way, all the peptides on my website as a peptide subpage, and I'll be launching probably later today all the minerals for monoatomic minerals I'm posting up. You need to understand God wants to restore civility to society, and he doesn't want anybody to be in danger of an economic chaos, an environmental chaos, or a pole shift, or an incoming meteor or asteroid, or a danger of a thermonuclear, chemical, biological war, or the destruction of the world economy and mass starvation. And guess what? People like me, I have the solution to every problem on Earth. People say, no, Dr. Deagle, you can't. Well, then call me live. If you think I'm a fool, ask me, and I'll tell you. If I don't have the immediate answer, I'll have the breakdown of the problem. When I bring on geniuses like Don W. Spring, I'm going to tell you, unless we get through to POTUS, we are in grave danger every moment. We're not going to get a warning of 7 years like these moron Christians that think they're going to build a temple, then they're going to have a treaty signed, and you're going to get lots of warning signs before all hell breaks loose. No, you're not. We could have actually had a thermonuclear attack a few weeks ago when Donald Trump decided smartly, with some decency in him, to not attack Iran, because Iran and Russia are lockstep alone together, because they believe, the 12 Imamers, that if they can bring about a big war with Israel and America, they can bring about the Islamification of the world, and the Mahdi will show up. And by the way, when Jesus shows up, and this is in the Quran and the Hadith, Jesus has to become a Muslim, and if you don't convert to Islam, he beheads you and kills every Jew on earth. People don't believe that. Well, that's the way it is. There'll never be peace with Islam, with Christianity, if you're a real Christian. There'll never be peace if you're a real Jew. I mean, a Jew believing in Yeshua Jesus, because if you're a real Jew, you would have accepted Yeshua as the Messiah. And there are Jews doing it now, including some Jews that were high-level rabbis. So, John, what are you going to say to President Trump? Because I have a long list of things that I want him to do. And if he doesn't start damn well doing it, we're in grave danger, aren't we?
Yes. I think before I answer your question, I should say this to you and our listening audience, especially our listening audience. We Americans better start turning to God. We better start praying for our nation and for our president and our leaders, whether we like them or not, that they will have...
we should pray for Hillary Clinton. We should pray for Podesta. We should pray for all these Democrat leaders that are completely lost their mind.
Absolutely.
Some of them are so far gone, it's like, do they even want to be elected? They're so far left, even the average decent Democrat wouldn't vote for them. My wife, her hairdresser, is so enraged with the current governor of California. And by the way, did you know this? Did you know that Donald Trump's son is actually messing around with the former governor's ex-wife? Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah. My gosh, man, like father, like son. People don't want to hear that. They hear, oh, well, she was in the Five. She was actually in this Five, you know, the show on Fox. She was actually Gavin Newsom's wife. Ooh, yuck. Do you understand how bad things are? And the high-level Masons are laughing their head off because they think they're still in control. And to be honest with you, if they actually are common sense, they realize we're all heading toward annihilation, because if they start a great big thermonuclear, chemical, biological war, or even economic chaos, everybody's going to die. You know, it's like that song, you know, in England, you know, it says, ashes, ashes, we all fall down. Remember that?
Yes, ring around the rosies.
Yeah. Pocket full of posies, ashes, ashes, we all fall down. Guess what, people? And I'm going to say this because my voice will not always be here. But the words I say, and the video and the audio that I produce, and the produce that you produce, will remember by distant human descendants, 10,000 and a million and a billion years from now. If they don't hear the words that I give and you give, they come from the Most High God, because they're not our words, they're His words, spoken through our mouth. If they do not heed these words, their civilization, no matter how advanced and how long they live, will die.
Yes.
You will listen or you will suffer. And our civilization needs to turn back to God first. They don't need to pray for Trump. They need to contact him. It should be a pummel of hundreds of thousands of emails and calls to Trump's office. You need Deagle. You need Deagle. You need Deagle. You need him to be your Samuel. You need to bring on his co-Samuel prophets, John W. Sprague, Ken Klein, whose family survived the Holocaust and is a real Ezekiel-type prophet. You need to have people like Carl Gallups, who talks about these things, and people like our guy that's on next week from Proverbs of Prophecy, Jerry Barrett. If you don't bring these people on that have the wisdom of the Most High God, our country, our civilization will die. It'll be like Babylon, when the hand of God wrote on the wall of the temple there with Babylon, Mene, Mene, Tekel, Peres. Today your nation has been held in wanting and in the balance, and you are found wanting, and today you shall die. To the king of Babylon. And guess what? They came through underneath the gates and underneath didn't have to come over the wall, because the wall's 30 feet high.
Yes,
they actually came. They came under the gates and everything right through the waterways. They came in and slaughtered the king and his people. Guess what? America is so, if I wanted to be cruel, I could actually tell an invading enemy exactly what to do to take down America. I could give them a shopping list of a half a dozen things, and if they did it, America would collapse and consume itself like a bunch of cannibals. And people say, "Oh, no, Dr. Deagle, you can't do that." I said, do not underestimate Deagle, like my ancestor Moshe. And even his brother and his sister, Aaron and Miriam, came before the congregation. They said, "Are we not also prophets?" And the voice of God came out of the pillar of fire and says, "There is not a one among you that speaks as a man to a man, most eye to eye, hand to hand." You need to understand this, people. I'm not going to be allowed wrong here forever. I have months and years left before I'm taken back to be my home with the Master of the Universe, God of the eternity. And if you don't heed these words, and if Donald Trump doesn't heed them, whether he gets elected or not is irrelevant, because if he gets elected and still hasn't repented, and is still pushing 5G network, genetically modified food, and recycled toxic water, and still has a faint and weak response against the danger of Russia and China and their nuclear weapons, we're doomed. We're doomed. And people don't realize that the slightest little fabrication, the Muslims want to start a great big war because they believe that the Mahdi that'll Islamify the world, especially Iran, is ready. They got Ivrit Hebrew on the side of missiles that now can strike anywhere in Europe or Israel today. And there's tens of thousands of missiles that can actually target every square inch of Israel. I talked to Shai Danan, and they're worried about 5G network. Don't worry about that alone. The reason why the Chinese want to study and steal AI is because they want to control the Matrix. The Matrix is coming from America. There's no man that knows more about artificial intelligence than the Matrix and Dr. Deagle. And I'm not even going to share what I do know about AI, because I know they build a beast on basically what I know. 42 years ago, they want to use my intellect and my superhuman abilities, so I've created ability to hack into human cortex. Working with DARPA, they wanted me to work on the MS Tissue Brain Bank and Repository at the Santa Monica VA Hospital in UCLA, but DARPA wanted me to actually hack into human cortex, just like Elon Musk wants to create Neuralink, or we talk about these other maniacs like the head of Google and the head of Amazon wants to be able to control human thought patterns by directly hacking into your intentions of your heart and your actual cortical thought. Guess what? They're really damn close. And people don't understand this, that our nation is the lead in this. We're not the follower. We have weapons literally in space and so on that are a century ahead of our so-called enemies and allies. Right?
Right. I'll answer your question when we come back to break.
When we come back from break, and we're going to talk on break too, because we're going to have that ability now. Let's give it a try.
Do you have difficulty taking supplements? Are you searching for a high-quality, complete nutritional drink that your whole family will love? NutriMedical's Life Support has arrived. All of your daily nutritional requirements in one quick, delicious drink. Dr. Bill Deagle's Life Support is a proprietary blend of vegan protein, activated vitamins, essential minerals, amino acids, probiotics, green tea, digestive enzymes, anti-inflammatories, cancer prevention, detoxification, and much more. Your body will high-five you for this one. Life Support is the best complete nutrition nutritious meal replacement on the market. Whether you are an elite athlete, have post-operative challenges, chronic illness, elderly, or a family that just wants a quick, delicious drink, try Dr. Bill Deagle's Life Support for optimized nutrition in one great tasting smoothie. Just add cold water, almond milk, fruit, or anything else you like. NutriMedical's Life Support. Try our great tasting chocolate or vanilla today. Call 888-212-8871 or visit us online at NutriMedical.com. NutriMedical.com for the whole family.
Legacy Emergency Foods is the top recommendation from Dr. Bill Deagle for the lowest oxygen concentration, the largest entrees, the highest amount of protein, the most varied entrees as well, and the longest food storage life. Nothing like Legacy Emergency Foods, and if you place a regular monthly order, you get 20% off and free shipping. Do get Emergency Foods for your supply for preparation, and get it from Legacy Foods. Contact Dr. Bill Deagle for the link at NutriMedical.com. Go to the Shop by Products link and drop-down message at NutriMedical.com, and then place your orders for regular emergency food for yourself and your family. Nothing like emergency food if the power goes out and you can't go to grocery stores, or if there's an emergency or a national crisis. So NutriMedical.com, top recommendation, Legacy Foods. NutriMedical.com, go to the Shop by Products and drop-down menu, and stay well with NutriMedical every day of your life. Lumen photon therapy, infrared light, far and near infrared, is extremely important for pain control, stimulation of nitric oxide, improved perfusion, and stem cell activation and reduction of cytokines. Dr. Bill uses it for pain control, for regeneration techniques, for organ regeneration, and for stimulation of your stem cell activity. This amazing lumen photon therapy this year will probably have an additional device with frequency therapy during the on phase of the lights. To obtain a lumen photon machine, contact Dr. Bill at NutriMedical.com, 888-212-8871. He'll prescribe it with you, providing nutraceuticals to help with your regeneration, healing, and pain control. Nothing like the lumen photon therapy for easy therapy for your eyes, your pain, your joints, regeneration of organs, detoxification of the body. Get a lumen photon machine from Dr. Bill Deagle, NutriMedical.com, 888-212-8871. To stay well with NutriMedical. The Sonic Life Machine is one of the most amazing therapies that Dr. Bill provides. It is the best sine wave exercise machine on the planet, doing whole body vibration, opening up the muscle to reduce insulin resistance, improve perfusion, release stem cell therapies throughout the body, and epigenetically stimulate the body to release DNA activated. The epigenetic therapy with the sine wave curve of frequencies given for atomic resonance, but Linus Pauling for minerals and amino acids stimulates the production of messenger RNA to correct structural protein enzyme deficiency for almost every illness. There's nothing like the sine wave therapy for improving body healing for exercise, but also the epigenetic treatments Dr. Bill can provide can help neutralize frequencies for disease states and illness. Get a Sonic Life machine through Dr. Bill Deagle at NutriMedical.com. Contact us at NutriMedical.com, 888-212-8871, or go to the website NutriMedical and give us a contact. Dr. Bill is available to help you get well with NutriMedical.
Need a powerful ally to fight daily bugs and serious pathogens? Allicin Med is the powerful universal pathogen killer's latest advance of German-sourced allicin, enzymatically stabilized to clear the body of bacteria, fungi, mycobacteria, and parasites. It penetrates body biofilms and is non-toxic to tissues. Pathogen resistance cannot develop for long-term body-optimized wellness. Clear stealth pathogens that promote autoimmune disease, cancer, and vascular inflammation and plaque, and promote healing of tissues. Now pathogen-free. With 200 milligrams more power than prior Alamed, you can't get a more powerful ally to fight daily bugs and serious pathogens. Give your body what it needs. Allicin Med. Order Dr. Bill Deagle's Nutridyne at 888-212-8871 or NutriMedical.com. That's 1-888-212-8871 or NutriMedical.com. And listen to the NutriMedical Report on the Genesis Radio Network with open lines every weekday. NutriMedical.com, bringing nutrition and medicine together.
And welcome back. So, John W., I did a bit of a rant there. I want people to understand I have a long list, which I'm going to go over later, But I want you to say what you would say if you get a chance to talk to POTUS, because he's screwing up. Now, I don't agree with Deborah Tavares. She's just so vile against any political leader. There's no solutions. It's hopeless. It's hopeless. Look, the reason why she's in such a desperate emotional state, and a lot of people that listen to her are in a similar state, is because they haven't turned back to God. If you turn back to God, even if you're dying of terminal cancer, your nation's a disaster, and your son's left you, and your husband's left you, or your wife, or you've just been shot, or you're bleeding to death in a car accident, if God is with you, it's okay. But if God is not with you and you don't have a relationship with God, your nation will die, you will suffer, and it won't just suffer physical death, which is temporal. You'll suffer eternal death. And people don't understand this. I'm not here on earth to just save your physical health, because God's given me the talents to bring back the years of Methuselah, and I will. With my talents, I already have patents on the red deer velvet. I'm working on epigenetic frequency control to actually regenerate tissues. I have all the peptides. I'm regenerating. I'm going to be pulling with regenerative frequency from these peptides, which is my next project. I'm working on quantum biocircuits. God is inspiring me to know how to bring back the years of Methuselah to the human race. But guess what? We've got sick young people. Sick because of vaccines, sick because of 5G networks, sick because of demineralized soil, sick because of things like Roundup and so on attached to body proteins,
yes.
Sick because of toxic aspartame, Splenda, Advantame, and so on. And people say, well, they can argue with me. I said, please be dumb enough to come into my spider cage, because you can't crawl out the roof. There's a little top on the roof of the cage, and I will cut you intellectually into little ribbons. If they think Dr. Deagle's pleasant, the word nice and Dr. Deagle shouldn't be within 10,000 miles of each other, because I'm decent and I will die for you. But I want to put up with centennial crap from anybody, not even the Creator God, because God takes me seriously, because I take him seriously. I know I can do no good unless I do God and add an extra O. There's no way to do good without the will of God behind you. You can't. It's not possible. And that problem is I see a nation apostate. I see people going to church and shaking hands with people of different skin colors and donating money for painting fences and homes and putting money out for the homeless. But are they changed so they have a changed relationship with God? Do they really think their sin's gone because they've done good works? No. It's done because you have a relationship, you have a walk with God. God's the only one who can take away sin, both personally and nationally. We are a nation full of sin. We're a nation that's fit for destruction. We're a nation that's ready to enter the mark of the beast and force it on the whole world. We're a nation ready to force China and Russia, who are horrifying nations because they're communist, into even more horrifying state called the Matrix. And some of the people in China are trying to see if they can steal our technologies so they can run the Matrix. Guess what? The most evil nation on earth is America. People don't want to hear that, do they? No. Well, you're a good American. I'm a good American because I believe in the good part of America. I believe America is the most righteous and wonderful nation on earth. It's also the most evil. It has both, isn't it?
Yes, it is, Dr. Deagle. Now, if and when I have the opportunity to meet with President Trump, the one thing I'm not going to do is express any anger.
No, you don't want to express anger. You want to express knowledge. You want to express pathways of wisdom. You want to give him options of what he can do. I guarantee you, if and I'm going to give a list of what, because I've listened to you now for almost 3 years, of what I would say you would probably say to him, and I want to see if you can validate. Number one, you'll say, look, President, are you aware of the danger of Russian nukes in La Chila Island and in Nicaragua? Number two, you'd raise it with question. Number two, are you aware of a missile defense system that Dr. Deagle has sent you 2.5 years ago and again 6 months ago that will complete the Brain Pebble system that Reagan was going to put up with Star Wars? That, by the way, Lyndon LaRouche was trying to say if we did it, we should share it with our potential enemies so that no one is at war or at danger of nuclear missiles or even the spread of nuclear proliferation. Number three, I'd say, are you aware that there's powers that be in secret orders that are trying to run the world toward a time of annihilation, including Muslims, globalists on the left and the right? By the way, it's a two-legged beast. When you listen to people like, for example, Hillary Clinton said the problem is not guns, is not video games and so on. This is what Hillary Clinton said in a little clip and tweet this morning. It's guns. No, it's not. It's not guns. It's the fact that we don't have a mental health system that has an early alert system to grab people that are mentally ill and dangerous and get them help. And we have a culture that doesn't take care of young people. We have a place where there's fatherlessness in the black community, and many of these people in the white community, Hispanic, in the white community especially, where these kids are killers. They didn't have a father to make sure they had control and put a choke chain on the little devils so they wouldn't do bad stuff. And there was no interventions occurring there. Guess what? If I was in control of the system, there would be a little red box in every school, in every public place, and if you put a note on it, the police would have to follow, and you have a way of logging in to see if your information got in the database so there's some kind of action happen. You wouldn't have to know all the details, and you don't want it public so you end up ruining someone's reputation. But you wouldn't let anybody get away with stuff like this kid says he has a rape and a kill list months and years before he does it. Right?
Well, Dr. Deagle,
yeah, go ahead.
In all probability, President Trump would say yes to the first two questions that I asked.
Right.
Regarding the third, I honestly don't know.
Well, I know the reason why you don't know. He has a phalanx of people around to try to hold him back from getting intel. Even though I worked with U.S. Missile Defense Command, I took care of the people at Vandenberg and White Sands Missile Base. And the fact is that Donald Trump is being held back from people that could provide solutions to problems, but he doesn't have them. And he wants to pretend he can brandish the idea we're the big nuclear power. No, we're nothing. If you don't have missile defense of your military bases, your cities, or EMP attack from either cyber attacks or an EMP weapon from a proxy like North Korea, you're a useless person. It's like going into a battle where someone has a weapon on a bomb, and you walk into the court to actually go do a battle with someone. All he has to do is press a button, and both of you die. That's what we're dealing with. It's like going to an elevator with somebody who's got a bomb strapped to his body, and you think you're going to win getting out of the elevator. No. All he has to decide is to be suicidal and push the button, and you're both dead. That's what Donald Trump and America is dealing with now, and they don't face it, do they?
No, they don't. What people need to understand is that he probably has been informed about the first two questions that you brought up that I might ask. However, and this is the reason why I need to go to Washington and meet with him.
If I can get an opportunity, I will pay personally for the ticket to get you there. And I will ask for people out there to give donations to help support it, because, again, we're just a little business selling supplements to support our radio show and our will to get the word out to people on every platform. I work my tail off 7 days a week. I take hours off, not days off.
Well, bless you. I wish there were more people in America with your dedication.
I'm driven because I see the end coming. I mean, a little boy, 8 years now, pretty soon will be exactly 60 years since God had me in heaven. And what he showed me is a thermonuclear attack on America. Okay?
Yeah.
And I cried after he showed me what was going on there, after I heard the voice of the seven thunders. And guess what? He swung around and held both my little hands in his giant hands, and his white hair and his talison splattered with blood. And I said, why did you show me this? And I was crying hard. And he says, at the time of the end, you will know and you will tell my people. Well, guess what? I got co-tellers. That's people like you. I need to have collaborative scientific and technical and spiritual experts that are many voices coming up with a chorus of telling the truth that people they can't avoid it anymore. God help us. And I don't hear this from Fox News, CNN, MSNBC, or even all the other Christian alternative media sources.
No, and you won't.
Churches, they're terrified of having Deagle on. Do you think that I've had one church or one group religiously invite me to speak in their church in 18, 19 years? Not one. And I'm talking about over millions of audience over all these years. Millions. Not one has asked me to speak on video link. And I have it. I can do it free. I can give them a video link and put it up on their church, and I can speak on any topic. They want to talk about abortion. They want to talk about life extension. They want to talk about international defense. They want to talk about the homeless or drugs. I'll talk about anything they want, and guess what? No one asked me any questions. You know why? The thing I grieve about most is if they hear the words coming out of my mouth, they realize I know the answers 11 to 15% of the time. God gives me the rest. Just like my ancestor Moshe. I have God on speed dial. And when I'm lost, I pray, and God will give me inspiration and tell me, just like I prayed 6 months ago to give the story to Jeff Rentz. He said, well, if you can get satellite photos, this is Pulitzer Prize winning. I prayed, God, I don't have satellite photos. God, give them to me, please. I beg God. And guess what? He did in 24 hours. So you got to understand here, people. You're not just hearing Deagle. You're hearing the words of God through my mouth. And I'm not going to be here forever. America is so close to destruction. It's unbelievable. I can almost smell the breath of the dragon on our back. And yet we think we're so powerful, just like ancient Babylon. Oh, we're so powerful. We're not. Our nation, even economically, look at what China's doing. They devalued their currency so that they could actually evade the tariffs. I would close down all the banks and all the SWIFT transfer systems. I would block all trade with China. And I would seize all of the banks of all the money of all the oligarchs in Russia and all the PLM members. Now. I would stop all trade, and I would completely close off the Gulf of Oman so Iran could have not one drop of oil coming out. I would completely blockade any Venezuelan oil going to Cuba. They got 46,000 Cubans there, including the private guard around Maduro. You want Maduro to step down? Have Cuba step down.
Yes.
They wouldn't have a damn drop of oil. There'd be no electricity, no power, and you blockade even food coming to the place, and that'll stop it in a couple days. All right? You want to stop it? Trump, you got to get with it, boy. If you don't listen up and you don't do something radical now, if things go wrong, you're going to have nuclear missiles hitting us with an EMP weapon at high altitude, knocking over our power grid, and people will cannibalize their pets and then their children next, and their neighbors. You don't think so, Dr. Deagle saying that? I work with the FEMA and the FBI, and these guys chuckle because most of them are bizarre, to be honest with you. When I work with the guys from CDC and the FBI and FEMA, oh my gosh. These are not normal human beings. They've got a really weird twist to them. Okay? I worked with these guys in the late 90s. In 2001, I met with them 6 months before 9/11. He was like, Dr. Deagle, how do you know all this stuff? I said, firsthand. It's not open to your damned opinion. Well, I have a different opinion. I said, no, you don't. You got an attitude. When I went through a life experience, if I had a leg amputated in a battle, and you weren't there in the battle and saw my leg cut off or blown off, you have no right to open your damned mouth. Isn't that right?
Yes.
Right. So you need to shut up out there and listen and pray, because we're there. We're so close to destruction now. In this summer, now we got China deciding they're still going to steal our intellectual property. They're still going to try to build warehouses. They're still going to put weapons in the South China Sea. They're still going to secure the economy of North Korea. They're still going to support the Russians building nukes so that they can hit us. And they're doing more tests now in North Korea with more missiles. Oh, well, Trump said, well, they're not doing long-range missiles. Yeah, they're still building missiles so they can hit South Korea, and they're mad because we're doing war games with South Korea. Are they kidding? Kim has no intentions to do anything unless we squeeze the left and the right testicle of China. Xi needs to have his testicles in the economic and military vice, the same as Mr. Putin. They'll understand one thing. They'll understand a righteous nation finally doing the right things to actually stop all this foolishness, and realize eventually we care about them, because if they start a conflict with us, they're going to be annihilated. They will be annihilated. They're not going to survive. If these fools in Russia drinking vodka think they're going to survive a war with America, they're delusional, aren't they?
They certainly are. What President Trump does not understand is it isn't so much the intel information that he's receiving, but rather the analysis, which is not taking place of that information.
That's right. But the thing is, he's also not looking at solutions, right?
Exactly.
He's not looking at solutions to it. And so one of the things that is people around him, including, you look at John Lightning Bolt. You never hear a word out of the man's mouth talking about a real concrete solution that can be done. When I talk about the solutions I just mentioned in the last little rant, those are simple things that can be done with an executive order with a few phone calls to the president, and it's over. If Mr. Putin could go to his dacha or access his bank accounts, because he takes a percentage of every business transaction that occurs there, the largest aluminum manufacturer in the world is a Russian oligarch. Did you know that?
Yes.
Guess what? Sees his company, sees his assets, sees all the bank transfers of all the oligarchs in Russia, all the PLA members, they're billionaires. You know that 85% of all the billionaires in the last 25 to 30 years are all Chinese. Did you know that? Or Russian?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Billionaires. We made them billionaires. They're proxies of the New World Order, and they're under our control, and they have a choke chain around us, and we can pull that choke chain if we want to. We're not doing it, though, are we?
No, we're not.
And that's, again, Trump's fault. While he's screwing around, Rome is about to burn, isn't it?
But we still must not get angry.
Are you still looking for that one iodine that you can really trust? A medical doctor-endorsed product that is backed by honest research and true integrative science? Then search no further. Go to NutriMedical.com for Dr. Bill Deagle's Nutriodine, proven time and time again to be the very best iodine available for you. Nutriodine is the only Tesla-activated monatomic plasma iodine in the world. It optimizes mitochondrial function and generation of new mitochondria, from totally neutralizing the venom from a desert recluse spider bite in Southern California to eliminating malaria parasites reported by medical missionaries in Central India. Dr. Bill's Nutriodine is simply the most powerful healing formula there is. Nutriodine clears the body of all known pathogens, restores it to an alkaline state, and even promotes stem cell regeneration. Order Dr. Bill's Nutriodine today at 888-212-8871 or visit us online at NutriMedical.com.
Red Deer Velvet DR is an amazing new product with a patent to preserve 300 biomolecules and 6 hormones, same as fetal life, where you don't age at all. The state of fetal life allows the 300 biomolecules and 6 hormones produced by the placenta to be supportive of the regeneration of tissues and organs, with maximum apoptosis, changing the tissue and organ structure of a fetus. That's why if fetal surgery is performed, there is no scar. Taking 2 to 3 capsules twice a day with oncomycin, myco-D2, provides an amazing support for regeneration of any tissue and organ in the body, and even advanced stem cell therapy support treatment. Do get NutriMedical's Red Deer Velvet DR from Dr. Bill Deagle at NutriMedical.com, NutriMedical.com, 888-212-8871. Stay well and stay young with NutriMedical. Hi, I'm Dr. Bill Deagle, MD, AAEM, ACAM, A4M, of NutriMedical.com, and a consultant providing email advice free on advanced protocols for your optimized wellness and advanced technologies to heal and regenerate you. You can contact us at NutriMedical.com, that's NutriMedical.com, or 888-212-8871. You get free email starter protocols of our top medical-grade nutraceuticals, initial testing, and recommendations for your own primary doctor to do, as well as recommendations to give you an idea of a consultation and a full protocol to try to help you regenerate your tissues, heal naturally without the use of toxic polypharmacy. I can send test kits to you as well anywhere in the world and provide you recommendations to referral of specialty clinics worldwide. So contact me, Dr. Bill Deagle, at NutriMedical.com. That's NutriMedical.com, or 888-212-8871. At NutriMedical.com, we have the most amazing drinks with the best mouthfeel, highest quality bionutrient exposure to your body to heal and regenerate, and the most powerful persistence of nutrients to heal your body dramatically. We have Ageless, which makes you age less, which repairs your DNA, extends your telomeres, etc. We have Life Support that detoxes phase 2 detox pathways, glucuronidation, sulfation, and methylation pathway support. We have Glycemics that blocks the carbohydrate absorption and helps with diabetes or weight loss, and as well helps with people that are trying to build up muscle, using things like our special formulas from Dr. Wolf called Mega Muscles between meals along with Sports Energy Light. We have the amazing NutriComplete, the most complete red and greens drink in the world, with the best mouthfeel and flavor. You can often mix it too with Vitamin Mineral Mix, which is our fruit-flavored mixed power of vitamins. Stay well with NutriMedical every day. I told him one day I was killing a lot of people. He said, "Look at me like you're a problem child." We're back with John W. Spring. So, I won't be angry if I'm sitting face-to-face to Trump, but I will be direct. And I'm not afraid of crowds or speaking to people who are of real high order like Donald Trump or a movie star or whatever. Nobody impresses me. I'm impressed with a grandmother with grade 3 who actually has a decent heart and has good questions and has a reasonable experience and logic and evidence behind her. I'm impressed with smart people like yourself that are saved, that are not arrogant, but are empowered and are talented. A lot of people will say because I'm talented and I have a very high IQ and spiritual giftings that God's given me that I must be an arrogant SOB. I'm not. Talents and arrogance don't go together. In fact, most people who are arrogant are not talented. They're empty shells that try to pretend they have things when they don't.
That's true.
And the fact is that I'm doing this because I could do other things at my retired years. I'm 67 and a half years of age. I'm doing this because I have so many months and years left before I go home with the Lord. And I don't want the human race to be annihilated. I don't want to see the earth destroyed. I don't want to see my nation, America and Canada, destroyed, or any other nation. I don't want people of any skin color persecuted or destroyed. I don't want to see Islam requesting the Mahdi to show up so it kills all the Muslims when they start a war with Israel and America. Do you think that the Muslims are going to survive a war with the West? Of course not. It's even in that third letter there, the letter from Alfred Pike that was kept in the British Museum. People need to realize that they have access to the devil. The devil is the most intelligent created being in the universe. He's scary.
Yeah.
But he's still suicidal, and he doesn't match my abilities when I am indwelt by the Creator God. You saved and receiving inspiration from Creator God, we are superior to the devil. The devil quivers when he hears about my name. That's why I even set up the website, Deagle, DEHEL.com, to show how by 2025, only 6 years from now, the U.S. population will be reduced to 65 million and 12 super cities. Do you know why? The only reason why they don't kill me is because you out there who might think, well, I disrespect Deagle, he's an arrogant son of a bitch. You might believe if I'm dead, because the words of a dead man, like it says in the Pirates of the Caribbean, dead men now tell no tales. In other words, I'm not going to lie to you when I'm dead. You have to know the truth because it's going to come upon you and you're going to smell the breath of the dragon on your neck. When you realize that an EMP has just hit and your cell phone doesn't work, you can't get gas in the gas pump and the grocery stores aren't going to deliver, the freeways are full, and your president's trying to send something over the shortwave, but your nation's dead. That's what's coming, people. If Trump doesn't do what I say, what God has told me to say, when I was 8.5 years of age, and he said, at the time of the end you will know and you will tell my people, if he doesn't listen, you're going to suffer and die, not just physical death, but because you haven't developed a relationship with God, you're going to die a spiritual death. I don't care how many years you're a Christian, how many good works you've done. If you don't have a standing, working relationship with God, and it could have started yesterday. If you have a relationship with the Creator God, he'll save you, just like the guy who was hanging on the cross beside him that turned to God while he was dying. People need to realize a walking relationship with God doesn't mean you have to do good works. It means you have to have a relationship, doesn't it?
Yes. The reason I had earlier said anger is because I had every right in the world to be angry when I wrote to JFK, because
right.
at that time I was not completely informed as to why the Bay of Pigs invasion was aborted or called off.
Right.
But I tried to take a positive view, and it paid off in the long run.
Right.
And I found through life that this generally works the best way. Now, privately, I might say to my wife, oh, I'm really angry about this or that, but going public out of the house, I try to keep my cool, as they say, on most matters.
Well, I differ slightly. I stay cool, but I stay direct. In other words, I don't have to get nasty whether I'm in a court of law giving evidence in a case or I'm dealing with a medical patient that's got a serious problem and I got to tell them the whole truth so they'll survive. Let's say, I got cancer, Dr. Deagle. Can you do something to help me? Yeah, I can. But if you don't listen to what I'm going to offer you, you're going to suffer and you're going to die. Yeah. Or you've got terminal congestive heart failure. You've just recently had a stroke and you want to recover. Or you want to see if stem cells will help you. Well, don't just dial up and go online and think, or you can dial up some stem cells and they're going to heal your condition if you don't take my other nutraceuticals and other healing technology. You're going to waste a lot of money. But the problem is right now, Trump is spinning his wheels. What I see happening, Trump is not very Trumpian. He has this hat that says, Make America Great Again. How about Make Trump Great Again?
Yes.
MTGA, okay? Right. Not just Make America, Make Trump Great Again. Make Trump be Trumpian. Make him number one. I don't care if his father was a Royal Arch Scottish Rite Mason. Make him turn into a Christian. They asked the senior person at the Focus on the Family because apparently he was said that Trump was, like a baby Christian. Yeah, he is. I guarantee you that even though he has prayer in the White House, he should be having a special half-hour talk with Vice President, and every week broadcast it and actually come out with scripture and a prayer for America and for the people and for different things, like prayer for these people that died. Now, if we had a proper early warning red system, alert system, and police would actually do something about it, and mental health, these cases wouldn't have happened. Imagine someone is evil enough that thinks he's going to fix the problem by going out with body armor on and killing everybody that's Mexican. Are you kidding me? How evil is that this guy thinks, and he says, well, he agrees with this and that, and he pulls out little parts, little pieces of whether it's Elizabeth Warren's comments or Donald Trump's out of context and tries to use it as a the Democrats to say that Trump's racist. One thing I can say about Trump, he's not fully informed, but he's certainly not racist. In the slightest bit. The problem is, though, we want to assume Trump is a genius at business and a genius at motivation and communication, which is why his crusades are so full. But he doesn't have the answers to everything. Guess what? Dr. Bill does. I have the solution to every health, geopolitical, astronomical, or any other problem on Earth, because God will tell me when I get as deep into the problem as I have to be. And people don't want to believe that. That's why I don't get any callers. Lately, I've been here at CRN. I've had one caller, and they were completely off topic. If you really want an answer to any problem, and if you're afraid to call on the show, email or call me and say, Dr. Deagle, do you really have the answer to this or that? Yeah, I do. I don't care if it's trying to fix the phytoplankton in the oceans or to try to stop a lithospheric disjunction or to protect the ozone layer from destruction or stop the nanoparticle insertion to the upper troposphere to create the Earth into a plasma so they can create earthquakes and super weaponize the weather. They're doing this on purpose, by the way. Oh, Dr. Deagle, how do you know that? And I said, because I know about the HARP project and torsion field imaging and gravitonic use of control of storm cells. What do you mean, Dr. Deagle? I know how to make what's called a positronic beam that can actually unwind tornadic activity and even storms. How do you know all this stuff, Deagle? I said, I'm not a normal human. Not. I'm what humans have to become in the next generations, linked to the Most High God, and your intellect, which will be superior, must be submitted to Him, or you'll do evil with that intellect. You'll create hybrid humans and superhumans. You'll upgrade your genes from a gene pool you'll get from 23andMe. You'll cyber-connect your child to the supernet so they'll no longer be an individual. They'll be part of a network of intelligence, but they won't even discern their own intellect and what's in the supernet. Dr. Deagle, you're warning us. Yes, I am. I'm warning you. This is the end of human civilization as we know it, isn't it?
Yes.
And people say, well, how do you know all this stuff, Deagle? I said, you know what? The people of ancient Israel that want to escape the prison and the slavery of Egypt, one arose who was in a little basket sent down the river, and the Pharaoh of Egypt's daughter actually adopted him, so he became, his name is Moshe. Moses is not his name. Do you know what Moses means? That's why they call it Tut Moses. It means he was to be the next Pharaoh. He was intelligent enough and talented enough to be the next Pharaoh of Egypt. And the Egyptian, and what people don't understand, the Israelites on the delta region of Egypt, they were Egyptians. They were not just Hebrews and Jews. They were Egyptians. He was to be the next Pharaoh, and guess what? Because he rose in anger and did something that was not right, he killed a guard that killed one of his own fellow Hebrews. He killed him and headed off to the land of Midian for 40 years until God called him and spoke to him from the burning bush to tell him to go back to his people and let my people go. God is telling me to let my people go from an apostate America and apostate churches, apostate political system on the left and the right, an apostate world that wants to get rid of nation states and have trade zones for the globalists, and with a massively reduce the population, saying they're going to capture carbon, and then replace the lower caste of humans with cybots, which would be genetically engineered, pseudo-humans with genetically engineered and brain interface with the supernet. If you don't think this is coming, your worst nightmare is not as bad as what I know is coming. And I'm not going to scare you with the actual truth of what I know, because it's so far beyond the pale of any B movie that you've ever imagined. You can't imagine what Dr. Deagle knows. And the burden I carry with this is people don't even want to ask me tough questions. So in the last couple of minutes, I want you to ask maybe one or two tough questions. The brilliance of John W. Spring, one of the toughest questions you would ask, you've never heard from a human being, but you would ask God himself. What are the toughest questions you would ask? And we didn't rehearse this beforehand, so go ahead and ask. and see what God will tell you through me. Go ahead.
Now, would this be a question that I would be asking the Lord or Donald Trump?
It's a question you'll be asking Dr. Bill Deagle to get the Lord to give an answer to you. On any issue, including whether it's Trump or America or missile defense or what's coming to the world, or will people get a lot of warning? No, they're not going to get a lot of warning. We could have had a thermonuclear war a few weeks ago if we decided to strike Iran after they hit a Global Hawk missile, our aircraft that was surveilling them. It probably did travel into their airspace because we turned off the GPS guidance system.
Yes. And there's just a possibility that one of my letters did get through to the president.
Oh yeah, I think that there's a drib drab getting through. I have a feeling whether it's not direct, it may be indirect through other people that send little clips, or it goes through some other media that grabs it on YouTube, or even on Next News Network, because I know our people over at Next News Network, including Josh Bernstein and Gary Franchi, are trying to get information through, and Trump does watch it, but he's an insomniac, so hopefully if he listens to this show, he's going to hear things that are going to make him the best president ever. Because I want to pray for the man. I want to say a little prayer right now. Dear Lord, we bless and pray for America. We pray for our president. We pray for truth. We pray for the demon rats that are turned to evil socialism, which is a form of godless communism. We pray for Americans that think they know the truth, that their nation is righteous, and it does both great good and great evil. And good does not wipe away sin. Only a walk with the Most High God wipes away sin, whether it's personally or nationally. Our nation is heading toward annihilation and destruction. And we pray that the truth will set us free. But it's not going to be the truth of a man giving a specific formula, like me giving you a formula to do this or that. It's going to be God inspiring us to have a relationship with Him first and pray personally, and for us to inspire our president to start seeking truth. How do we deal with Russia and China? I gave a formula of things in the last hour and this hour. We need to be really tough, a lot tougher than we've been with Russia and China. We also need to be tough with the globalists who want to reduce the world population like these green, dirty deal. And remember, I'm a charter member of Greenpeace with Patrick Moore from Greenpeace. So I understand these things. I was an oceanographer before I went into medicine in 73. God had my daytimer. That's why He had me, my life since I was a little 8.5-year-old boy sent back from heaven. God knew what Deagle was going to do. I am His son and servant. And I'm here to try to serve you before I die, and I'm going to die soon. I can't tell if it's months or years away. God won't give me the exact date, but He's going to tell you that I'm here only until God decides, you know what? Grace is ended. I'm bringing judgment on this nation and this world. And believe me, I am so concerned right now. I see things literally forming in front of me like an image that's starting to crystallize. Yes. Final question, John. Go ahead.
Well, I would be asking you to ask God, is America, from His perspective, still worthy of being saved? Because it seems as if all opportunities to meet with the president are fading away.
We are on a knife edge of judgment. We are on the edge of losing grace and having only judgment left. If we don't pray for not only Dr. Bill Deagle and John W. Spring to be before the president and before Donald Trump to turn back from his ignorance and his advisors like John Lightning Bolt and Pompeo and everyone else, our America is doomed. So we are not fit for much more grace. God help us.
Yes.
Which was most important because